Welcome back to Lion Tracks, where we share real stories from immigrant students, their journeys, challenges, and the power of being seen. In this episode, we hear from Daniela, a student who came from Ecuador to the United States. Her story is about not giving up and staying strong. So, welcome, Daniela. Thank you for being here today. Let's get started with some questions about your journey.
Hello, thank you, Miss Angie, for having me here.
Let's start at the beginning. Can you tell us a little bit about your life in your home country?
Sure. My life before the COVID, it was pretty good. I have really safe environment and I could go anywhere. And with my friends, I have plannings and things like that. So it was pretty good. But after the pandemic, things really changed. So I started taking virtual classes during the pandemic. And after that, when I went back to school, it was a different system and also the environment becomes unsafe. And even one of the things that I remember, it was before the pandemic, I can go to the center of the city of Guayaquil by myself. And I was 13 years old. But after that, I was 17 years old and I was pretty scared to go by myself because of the dangers that was outside. And even in the neighborhood that I live, it was so bad. It was a kind of band that was around in the neighborhood, and the leader was right in front of our house. But they did really bad things. So it was so scared for me and for my family to live there.
And how did you find out that there was this gang or these people in front of your house?
So everything, they were doing bad things, and as first it was kind of rumors, but then they have guns that you can see it, they make parties, and in the night you can hear the fights and things like that, and the conversations, because they were really, really loud. So I remember one of the memories that with my little brother, he was around 3 years old, and we had to spend a lot of time alone because my mom was working and my stepdad too. So they were having these kind of parties, and you can hear the
gunshots.
The gunshots, yeah. So in the roof of our house was pretty simple, so probably the shots can go through. So we had to go.
They were shooting at the sky.
Yeah, at the sky. So we had to go to my bathroom. They have another ceiling, and it was made with concrete.
Okay.
So we just hide there and wait until everything is better, so we can go outside. So, and I remember that because my brother, the last week, he mentioned that oh, sister, do you remember when we hear that and we had to hide in the bathroom? And I was how do you can remember that? You were 3
He
years
was so
old.
little.
Yeah.
And then you lived with your mom, your stepdad, and your brother.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about school? How was the school in Ecuador for you?
Okay, at school it was good. I really have the privilege to go to a private school because my mom always wants the best for me. I have always tried my best, but the education that I had, it was not so much different as the public school, because most of the teachers were really, really bad. But there were some of them that were good, but
yeah.
I didn't have that kind of support that I have now here. And the last year that I studied in Ecuador, I had the opportunity to be part of the student government as a secretary.
Okay.
And I think that was the best experience that I ever had in that school, because we did so many great things, and it was I had to spend a lot of time with other students, because in the mornings my school was separate, so the females were in one side and the boys was on the other side. And then we make plans for the students, and one of them, we make a prom, which is not really popular in Ecuador. So it was that was our main plan. And it was cool. I didn't went to the prom because I just got so stressed because I was the responsible for the money and things like that. And as the photos and the videos that I saw, it was
cool. A good party.
Yeah, it was a good party, and until now I regret to know
that you didn't go.
Yeah.
What part of Ecuador are you from?
Guayaquil.
Coast of Ecuador. The coast of Ecuador. Yeah. And then, can you tell me a little bit about how did you and your family decide to come to Minnesota, to the United States?
Ooh.
And when and how was that conversation? Was there really a conversation?
So everything started with me trying to go to Argentina
Okay.
because I always wanted to study abroad.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to go to Argentina to the University of Buenos Aires,
Okay.
and because they had a really good program of architecture.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started to think about other options.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have this conversation with my uncle, who is the oldest brother of my mom. And he mentioned that he has a family that was living here. So he said, like, if you want to study abroad, it will be better if you guys go there because you right now are not having like the best economy and there's like no many opportunities here.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go there.
What year was this when you guys were thinking about moving?
It was 2023.
Okay.
So yeah, it was super, super fast because we made the decision. Like when we start talking until we make the decision, it was like just 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was pretty fast. So yeah, he was talking about the family that he had here. At the beginning, I didn't want it to come
Mm-hmm.
because I was afraid of the language, even though I was taking courses in English in my school. But yeah, so we made the decision to come. It was sad because I had to left my aunt. We have been always so close, and with my cousins too.
Mm-hmm.
And also I had to leave my dad here with my siblings. So yeah.
You have other siblings more than your little
Yeah.
brother? How many siblings do you have?
2 more.
And would you say that all the things that were happening in Ecuador, you said the pandemic was really hard. You said you went to school, but then you had to take classes online. And then things got more dangerous in Guayaquil. So you didn't really have time to go outside and enjoy your life, really.
Even like I had invitations from my friends saying like, oh, we can go to the mall, we can go to the park or things like that. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna think about it. And then I said, oh, my mom didn't give me permission, but I actually didn't ask because I didn't want to go.
You didn't want to go. And it was because you were scared?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it because you were seeing things on the news? Or
Yes.
was it closer?
Both.
Both.
It was like so many things that I saw in the news, and also because the things that I was seeing in my neighborhood.
Okay. And then do you think that all of those things that were happening and then plus you wanted to study abroad, those were like the things that made you decide you and your mom and your brother moved here and your stepdad? The four of you came together?
Yeah, because if I had to come to the US by myself, I probably didn't
Yeah,
do
you
that.
would have done it. Yeah. And then when did you move to the US?
I got here December 2023.
And did you move with family? Did you move with friends?
So when I got here, there were like the family of my uncle that they were like supposed to help you. But like the experience that we have with them, it was not as good as I expected when I was coming. Yeah, so the apartment that we were living, it was 3 bedroom, and it was kind of like good for probably like 5 people. But we were 8, and so we were living with my stepdad, my mom, and my brother in just 1 bedroom. So they shared 2 bedroom, and we got
Only
one.
one.
And we were paying the half of the amount.
So you were paying the same money, but
yeah.
then you didn't have the same space.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
And then how long did you live with them?
3 months.
Only 3 months.
Yeah.
That's a really short time.
Yeah, we couldn't. No.
When or how did you decide to move out of that place?
So we moved out on December 27, I think. They were like trying to always argument with my mom, especially little things that can be like you don't have to argue about that.
Yeah.
I had to spend a lot of time like crying in the night, like in the bathroom, because we were living with my mom in the same room. I didn't want her to see me crying because of the situation. And I just like spent a lot of time in the bathroom.
Yeah, that sounds really stressful.
Yeah,
and especially if you
was.
are just new to the country and you're
Yeah.
trying to figure things out here and then you're having to leave that, it sounds really
Yeah,
stressful.
and-
how was it about like getting money for you? Did your stepdad and your mom start working right away?
Oh no, they don't. I was the first that got a job
Okay.
because of the language. I mean,
Mhm.
in Ecuador, I had like classes that taught me like the basic things, so kind of basic conversation here.
Mhm.
So we went to the Mall of America. We were asking like for jobs for everyone.
Mhm.
But I got my job at Burger King.
Mhm.
It was it was in the same December, like around Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you moved here December, right? And then you started working right away
Yeah.
as soon as you came here.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you were the first one to get a job.
Yes.
And then how long did it
The-
take for your mom and your stepdad to get a job?
So for my stepdad, he got like a job after 1 month, and my mom didn't work until 4 months later.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
also your little brother, how old is he right now?
5 years
He's
old.
5. So he was
A responsibility
yeah,
for
right,
us.
right.
Yeah.
And then what do you remember most, like your feelings? How were you feeling in those moments? Like the first couple of months being here. I know it sounds like it was stressful at home and then you had to work. How can you describe it?
I mean, I have so many different emotions at that time because, as you say, at home I was like sad and stressful. I didn't want to get home, so that's why I tried to spend more time at working and at school because I already got a milestone, and that was like Wellstone have become like my safety place because of that.
Okay.
I can like just forget about things about in my house because I didn't consider that
A
as
home.
a home.
When did you start going to school at Wellstone?
Probably this same week or 1 week later I
Yeah.
got here.
So you started working and started going to school
Yeah, at the same time.
around the same time. So then you didn't want to be home. So you wanted to stay either at Wellstone or at
Or
work,
work,
but not
not
the
at home.
house. And then can you describe what was your experience at Wellstone when you started?
So at the beginning, I wanted to go to South High School because it was pretty close where I was living.
Okay.
So I went there, and there was the social worker who tell us like, oh, you can apply, but you have to go to the district. And she was Mexican, so it was good for us to have someone speaking
Speak
Spanish. Yeah, and she was really nice. And fun fact, she's a friend of my mom now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So she told us to go to the district, and when I went there, I mentioned about the South High School, but they told me that I couldn't go there because I was already 18. So they talk about Wellston, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go there, I guess.
Yeah.
But they gave me the address, but the address it was wrong, I think, because I think the now is Fair High School maybe, and they told me like, if you go there and blah blah blah,
They explained to you.
yeah, you will find Wilson. So then I came here, and it was good for me to have this experience of being in a place that was so many people from different backgrounds, and like we have in common thing that we are all learning English. So that was like good for me.
Yeah.
And I really fit in here.
Yeah. Do you think that your experience at Wellstone since you started was a positive?
Yeah, I will say so. I had the good luck of having a good experience since I started until now.
Until now?
So when I started, I didn't have any friends, and probably the first person that I met here it was Amy or Carlos. Carlos already graduated the last year, and I also, thanks to them, I found the Club Latino. So it was good for me to start going to the Club Latino on Fridays in my first year. So then I started to meet new people, and
you were able to make friends when you started going to at Wellstone, and then you started participating at Club Latino, and now you are one of the leaders of Club Latino. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience being a leader?
Being a leader, now that I have to write like things about the scholarships, it have made me think about more about just being the person who make the plan or do things. But it's also to listen to the students, or like if they have any complaint. To be a leader, you don't have to be the loudest in the room. You really have to listen and care and support. I will not gonna lie. Sometimes it have been difficult to come with ideas to do, or like how we can make a better community here. But yeah, it's have been a great experience to have in my senior year.
This is your last year at Wellstone. Yeah. How does that feel?
Ooh, kind of overwhelming,
Mm-hmm.
but good at the same time. I don't want to leave Wilson.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah.
You're graduating in a month,
Yes.
right?
This is like my bubble here.
And how about the teachers? How was your experience with the teachers?
Oh my God. I think here I have found like the best teachers in the world. Sorry of my teachers in Ecuador, but it's right. So I think that I had like many connection with many of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like Miss Ran, she was a really good teacher of biology that I didn't even care about that in Ecuador because it was like a boring class, but here she made the class interesting and fun at the same time and making projects. It was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And also the math class, I wasn't that good in Ecuador, but here I got really good classes. And with Mr. Alex, they are always a student that told me like, if you don't have something to do, what are you
Why are
doing
you
here?
here?
Yeah, why are you here? I was like, I don't know, I just feel like I can be here. And
Yeah.
even if I'm because sometimes I help the students there, or sometimes I just
Yeah.
go and sit and do my stuff or just relax. So I'm taking college classes, and everything started on summer 2024. We had the test to see if we can take college classes at the NCTC, and I passed this test. So Miss Renee talked to me and tell me if I wanted to take summer classes or just wait until fall. And I just say, why not take on summer? It was my first time doing that. And during summer, I don't have like the help of Wilson staff to help me. I was by myself doing huge classes like college composition and public speaking. So it was difficult, but at the same time, that helped me to improve the English because at the beginning, I knew it English, basic things, but I didn't want to talk. I was just like, listen or like just sit there and don't talk. But the public speaking class gave me the confidence to talk more. And now I'm like, even if I make mistakes, I know that that's normal because I don't have a long time being here and I'm still learning, and I'm gonna still learn even in 30 years.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it has been a kind of crazy schedule for me. But now there is my last quarter at Wellston. I have a chill schedule. I just have 2 classes here and 2 classes at college. Yeah, the fall was the most stressful. I got 4 classes there and then other 4 here.
For the fall semester, you had 4 classes at college.
Yeah.
And 4 classes at Wellston?
Yeah, and 3 of them were like for college credits. So
wow. What classes were you taking during the fall?
So during the fall at NCTC, I took architecture orientation, ethnic studies, American government, history. And here at Wellstone for college credit, I was taking strategy for college success, math for liberal arts, I think it's called the class, and then the Spanish class.
Okay.
And then I just for fun, well, not for fun because I need it for my graduation. Health class. Yeah.
Okay, that seems like a busy schedule.
And I was working.
And you were working.
Yeah. And no, for my architecture class, I always had to do like drawings and projects, and that for me wasn't an orientation. I don't know.
I remember being on my desk and you will come and you'll talk about all the things you were doing. And it's like, I have this big project and I have to do all these drawings, and then I have to, what were you saying? Like group projects and all the things that you were doing. And then
I had to read some chapters.
And then you showed me videos that you had to watch and all these essays. A lot of writing.
Crazy. Yeah.
A lot of reading and then architecture. But it seems like you were able you were able to do it, and right now you have, like you said, a chill schedule. You're just coming here, you take your classes, and does it feel good to have a chill schedule right now?
Yes, because it gave me the opportunity to enjoy things.
Yeah. What would you say are some things that you do to take care of yourself right now?
I'll say that during the night, I just take a time for myself, like just turn off my brain and don't think about the responsibilities that I have and things that I have to do during the week or during the weekend. I just try to just be by myself and relax, probably like watch a series or just do like my skincare because those are things that make me happy. And yeah, I was talking about this the other day, and it was like try to enjoy the things of life. It doesn't have to be huge. It just can be the smallest things, like
Yeah.
spend time with your friends or your
Mhm.
family. And those kind of plans are like really make me feel good.
Okay. And then are you living with your mom, your stepdad, and your brother right now?
Yeah, I'm still living with them. And yeah, living with a 5 years old, it's kind of messy and crazy at the same time, but good. Yeah.
What is his name?
Lucas.
Lucas.
Yeah. And it's good because sometimes we argue in English.
Yeah.
Because he is already started to learn.
Yeah.
And it is fun because my mom doesn't understand. And I was like, Mom, did you, well, like in Spanish now,
Yeah.
but Mom, did you hear what he told me? And she's like, do you know that I have to speak English? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to translate you, but please talk to him because he's 5 years old and I'm 19.
Yeah.
When is the respect on the show?
When he's fighting with you, you tell your mom,
Yeah.
listen to what he say.
Yeah.
That's cute. Then can you share something that you would say was hard for you about being in this country?
One of the main things that was hard was being so far from my aunt because she raised me when I was little because my mom had to work in another city. So she's basically like I told her like my other mom. I don't call her my aunt. I just call her mommy, like mom.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a really strong connection, and being so far from her, it's difficult, and also being far away of my cousins. It's hard. And like me, some of the birthday, the things like you really wanted to be there with them and share. But yeah.
Are you in contact with them right now? Like,
Yeah, we like when they're like the birthday, we make FaceTimes and try to sing the happy birthday together. It doesn't feel the same as if you were there, but something is something.
Yes, doesn't feel the same.
Yeah, and we talk a lot. Even my aunt always tell me like if you have something going on in your mind, you know that you can come with me and tell me. When like even now when I'm talking with someone, I always go with there and like try to share what I'm doing and what is happening, and she gave me advices. But it's good.
Okay, so this is your senior year at Wellstone, your last year at Wellstone. What are you gonna do after you graduate?
Okay, I'm gonna go to the U of M, University of Minnesota, and the Twin Cities.
Yeah.
And now I'm in the process of applying for scholarships. I'm gonna major in architecture, and probably I'm thinking to do a minor in interior design because that was like my dream job. For me, the University of Minnesota is like a dream school because the campus is so huge.
You already visited?
Yes, I did yesterday. It was so cool. And for me, that is like things that I just saw in movies. And now have the opportunity to actually do that. It just feels unreal.
How has the process of applying for scholarships, applying for university, how was that process like?
It's stressful because there's like a lot of writings, but at the same time good because I know that I'm like step by step I'm going to my goal. So hopefully I'm gonna achieve that. And I know that I'm gonna do it.
Yes. And did you always know that you wanted to be an architect?
No. No. At the beginning, I wanted to study psychology, but then I also wanted to be a commercial pilot, and it was for me that was like a dream. I got obsessed about that, but then I was like, I mean, if I do that, I always will have to be working for someone else, and that's always that I knew it. Like I don't want to do that. I want to one day have like my own things and like my company, something like that. So even that I tried to get into like business things, but no, that's not for me, I guess. But I realized that I want to study architecture and interior design because during the pandemic I started watching shows on Netflix that were about that, and I was like, I don't know, I think that I belong there. And then I started to follow some people on Instagram, and there was this person. She's I think Venezuelan, and she's living here, and she's an architect and interior designer, and like she had a podcast, and I started listening that, And it was so good, the stories that she shared. And yeah, I just feel like really inspired, and up to now it's like something that I want to do. And also my aunt, when I was talking about that I want to be an architect, she told me that that was her dream job. She couldn't study that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a really big dream, and I know you're gonna do it. I see you have a lot of potential since the first day I met you. Well, when I met you, I was like, I could really see how much you wanted to learn and how much you wanted to be part of a lot of the things that were happening in school. And so it's been really a good experience for me also to see you do all these things. And when you told us that you got into the University of Minnesota, like all of us were like, that is so crazy and it's so nice, and we're so proud of you and we're so happy, and it's really nice to see you do all these things. I don't know. I feel like I would like for you to maybe share a message with students. I know that probably things that you shared here, you also probably didn't share things that were harder in your life because it's hard to open up about things that are harder. But I would like for you to maybe give a message to the students who are listening and who are still going through all these things. They're stressed, they feel maybe lost, they're not sure what they want to do. What will you tell the students that are listening right now?
So one message from me, I will say that don't give up. And I know that you hear that a lot of time, but it's true. You just have to keep pushing and learn new things, and the language always will help you here. And I know that it's hard to learn because I is still learning, and like and trying to speak up in class. That will help you a lot to gain some confidence with you. And doesn't matter your accent, doesn't matter if you make mistakes, it's good. It's fine. Yeah, so don't give up and just try to make what is good for you and what make you happy, and not others, because at the end of the day it's gonna be just your life.
Yeah.
So if you feel good about it with the things that you're doing, that's good.
Yeah, that's a really good message. But would you like to maybe give a message in your language to someone that will listen to this and you will share? Maybe you want to send a message to your tia or to your cousins or anyone.
Okay. Hello, hola. Creo que le voy a mandar un mensaje a mi familia en Ecuador. Porque ya quiero llorar. Bueno, quería decirles que, o sea, por ellos siempre hemos sido una familia muy unida, entonces me siento muy afortunada por haber tenido una familia muy buena en mi vida y tener a personas que me apoyan, no importa en lo que sea, y con locas ideas que yo pueda venir, como ser un piloto o no sé, cualquier cosa. Ellos siempre han estado ahí para apoyarme, entonces espero poder volverlos a ver muy pronto y que cuando me gradúe poder ayudarlos a ellos, porque esa es mi meta también, tener la oportunidad de apoyarlos allá. Entonces sí, y los quiero mucho y los extraño.
Thank you so much for coming to the podcast. I feel really, really blessed to have you in my life and to get to know you and get to see you since the day you started at Wellstone, and then to see you now. And I'm so excited to see you graduate and see you do all the things that you're going to do. I know that I've seen you cry and I've seen you get overwhelmed and feel sad and feel lost at times too. But I know that you have got out of that and you have overcome all those things, and you are always so kind to everyone, and I think you're just the kindest student. You're always smiling, you're always giving hugs to people, and that's a really good thing to have, and it's good to have you around, and I'm gonna miss you when you graduate. And I just hope that people who listen to your story can get to know you a little bit more, and yeah, we're all so excited for you and we're so proud. So thank you so much for coming to the podcast, and for anyone else who is listening, I hope that you enjoyed this episode with Daniela. Yeah, thank you so much.
And please come.
Please join us in this podcast. It was a fun experience.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.